Good morning, students. We will see about the conductive system of heart. Conductive system of heart mainly consists of SA node, AV node, AV bundle of His, and the right and left branches of bundle of His and Purkinje fibers. Understand? So, what is this conductive system of heart? Is it a nervous supply? It is nervous supply is though conductive system of heart is there. So if there is a conductive system of heart is working by itself. Is there the nervous system is present? Is there any influence upon the nervous system, upon the cardiac muscles or the heart? So today's this chapter, this conductive system of heart, we are going to see about how the heart is generating, why the heart is working automatically, what is the how the heart is possess this autorhythmicity, why it is generating its own electrical impulses, and how these electrical impulses, where it is generated, and how these impulses are passing, and how many minutes it is taking to pass within that, and what is the function of generating electricity. Is it happening the cardiac beat, and how it is generated, how it is ending, and what is the time limit, and where it is coming, and how each cardiac muscles are getting these electrical impulses in detail we will see. Heart possesses the property of autorhythmicity. Autorhythmicity means what? It can generate its own electrical impulses. So these electrical impulses can generate the beat, the heartbeat it can generate. So heart can independently can work. So what it is independently work? What is called independently of the nervous system? What is this independency? Independency here in the meaning is it is not rely on the electrical mechanism. So it is initiating its own electrical impulses. So how it is going to initiate, where it is generated, which muscles has got this peculiar muscles. So where this autorhythmicity is starting. Let us see. Since I told you the conductive system of the heart, first it is started from the SA node. This SA node, what is this SA node? What is this full form? Sinoatrial node. So this sinoatrial node, it is a small mass specialized cells which lies in the walls of the right atrium. It is present. So the walls of this right atrium near the opening of the superior vena cava. This SA cells, these cells only, these specialized cells only, it is generating the unstable electrical impulses. So this unstable electrical impulses, the instability leads to them to discharge. So this one, it is called making the depolarization of the heart. So usually between 60 to 90 time it is happening. So this depolarization followed by the repolarization. So depolarization is followed by repolarization. It normally sets the heart rate. So this one is called the SA cell. So this SA node is called the pacemaker of the heart. So polarization and the repolarization. So this firing of SA node triggers what's happening? It's triggering the atrial contraction. So once it is contracting, the impulses of SA node passes to the AV node. So it is nearly, what is the second? Only 0.1 second the impulses will be passing to the AV node. Then this is the conducting pathway to the atria and the ventricles. So this is the pathway which is starting from the atria and the ventricles. Same way AV node. So what is this AV node? AV node, it is also a small neuromuscular tissue which is situated in the walls of the atrial septum near the AV valve, atrioventricular valve. This AV node transmits the electrical impulses and sending the signals from the atria to the ventricles. So these ventricles, how it is taking? It is also taking from here to SA node to here, it is also 0.1 second. Same way it is taking to the ventricle, also the same 0.1 second. It passes through the ventricles, and this allows the atria atrium to finish the contraction. So before the so it will finish the contraction so that ventricle can begin its own contraction. So it is initiating. So here we said polarization and depolarization. Same thing, it will be initiating before the ventricular contraction it is starting. Same 0.1 second, here also same 0.1 second. So this AV node also have this is called pacemaker of the heart. This is also secondary pacemaker function only it is having. If any problem, why it is secondary pacemaker? If any problem happening in the SA node due to any anatomical or pathological any issues happening, it cannot be able to function. So AV node will be do the function of this one. So this is one is called the secondary function. So this is also it is called the secondary pacemaker function it is doing. So this is called the SA node and to the AV node. We have seen about what the SA node is doing and what is the AV node is doing. Next we will see about the bundle of His. The bundle of His or the AV bundle. Here this is also called the bundle of His. It is also mass of the specialized fiber that originates from the AV node, and this AV bundle passes through the fibril ring and it separates the atrium and the ventricles. Then it went into the interventricular into the ventricular septum and to the upper end, and the upper end into the interventricular septum, and it is slowly it is dividing and it enter into the right branch and the left branch it is dividing, and the right and the left bundle of the branches, and these right and left bundle of the branches are entering into the myocardium, and these myocardial fibers are break into small minor branches, and this purpose of these minor branches is transmit the impulses into the apical part of the myocardium. So when the when it is the impulses reaching from here to this end portion, then the ventricular contraction is started. Understand? So we have seen about what is SA node, what is AV node. This is a pacemaker and 0.1 second polarization, repolarization, also specialized muscles. These muscles present in the superior down to the superior vena cava of the right atrium, right? And then the impulses passing to the AV node, and from the AV node when this contraction helpful for this once the finishing the contraction, repolarization, depolarization. So it is also called the secondary pacemaker. Then the impulses passing to the bundle of His. This bundle of His taking the impulses to the downward. So the both the branches this atrial ventricular branches. So it is divided into in the apical in the down it is divided into two branches, that is called the right and left Purkinje fibers. These fibers are right and left branch of the bundle. So this left and branch of the bundles of the AV bundle. So these AV bundle are divided into minor small minute bundles, and these bundles are taking into the muscles of the myocardium. Once it is reaching this myocardial muscle, this ventricular contraction started to begin. So this is called the conductive system of heart. So one question in the beginning we asked that, so the heart is generating its own electrical impulses. So it doesn't have any control over by the brain. This is the question you may ask. So for example, the respiration is taken place by the lungs, but the respiratory center is present in the medulla oblongata, right? Same way, there is a cardiac center which is present by it is also in the medulla oblongata. Okay, the heart is not influenced by any nerve supply or anything. It is influenced. Heart is also influenced by the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system, very well you will be knowing what is that, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So these sympathetic and parasympathetic also originates the originating in the cardiovascular center like medulla oblongata. Parasympathetic mainly by the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve supplies mainly by the SA node, AV node and the atrial muscles. So this is the conductive system of the heart. You have to remember the key words or the key point you have to remember about. What is the key point? First, the point you have to remember about autorhythmicity, specialized muscles. These are all the key words. And you have to remember about AV node. What is called first you have to remember about SA node. SA node, where it is present, you have to remember. It is in a superior vena cava below or the inferior vena cava. It is in the nearer, just below to the superior vena cava. Understand? So it is called the specialized muscles, and then and the AV and will be AV node. It's also specialized fiber which is present, specialized cells which is present is in the AV node. And then another keyword you have to remember about bundle of His. So where it is starting from. Then the another keyword you have to remember depolarization and repolarization. You have to remember about pacemaker of the heart. Which is the pacemaker, which is the secondary pacemaker. When the AV node, SA node is called as a pacemaker. When it is not functioning due to any reason, yes, AV node will be acting as a compensate to make the heart to function effectively. So it is also called the secondary pacemaker. Then with this diagram you can draw. It's a very rough diagram. Just this is all the like a papillary muscles. Is it papillary muscles, cardiac tendinae which is connecting. This actually will be the 3 papillary muscles will be there. This anterior papillary muscles which is in the valves, it making the valves in this unidirection, which is really helping. It's like a nipple, like a projection muscle. Just you can draw a rough diagram. No need to mention even the muscles. You can just mention about what are all the special things you can tell about, like SA node, AV node and bundle of His, and right and left branches of AV bundles. Then you can write as the end with the Purkinje fibers. Then you can write by your own words. You can write the conductive system of heart. It is so easy. So first thing you have to remember about the diagram and the keywords what I told you can remember. And what are all the points you have to remember. The major things, components you have to remember is SA node, AV node, bundle of His, right? And right and left branches of AV node and Purkinje fibers. And you have to remember about what is called pacemaker, and the timing you can remember 0.1 second only. It helps in all these, the electrical impulses helps in the contraction of the heart. And autorhythmicity is the word you have to remember. You have to start with the word of this one, and you have to remember it is not, though it is also generated its own electrical impulses to make the heart beat effectively, it also brain also have the control mechanism. So this is circulatory center is present in the medulla oblongata, you can write. And also heart is influenced by sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. What is the parasympathetic nervous system? Mainly by the vagus nerve. Vagus nerve supplies mainly to the SA node, AV node and the atrial muscles. Okay, so draw the diagram, mark the parts, write in your own words, you will get the full mark. Thank you.